Hello, everyone joining me. This is aLex Levin. This is Sunday morning micro movement and meditation, weekly through Sun and Moon Yoga Studios portal on YouTube. What has your morning been like, or what has your day been like? Thank you for the sound check. Since before joining me. Okay, you are going to need whatever supplies are necessary to sit comfortably, lie down comfortably for tiny, tiny movements or and sitting still. And part of that comfort is making sure that the temperature of the space that you're in is pleasing as well. Supportive, so in a range, like being with some level of discomfort is actually not a horrible thing as well. And in a way, part of what I think about a whole lot in this practice. So I'll say a few things about my theme. I think we'll move first, and then we'll see. Maybe we'll sit first, and then we'll move. Or here's an idea, hot off the press. Let's center right now, seeing as you have all your things that you need. I'm going to do one more thing that's bugging me to adjust the space. Okay. The critters are nearby. One cat and dog are calm, the other is getting there. Never know what will happen. All right, so let's just drop into centering with that little bit of prep, but it's really useful to be able to drop into centering without much prep at all. No prep, just right here. So even if you're not ready yet, just like in freeze tag, just freeze. But breathe and soften. Let the jaw relax. Let the skin over the eyebrows and the forehead melt a little. Let the belly, the deep belly relax, and take note of what solid parts of you on the bottom of you are touching solidness beneath you. Grounding, attention to where our ground is, attention to where our solid parts are, the ones within us as well, the ones that make up our body. How we can be held right here in an upright sitting or a lying down position or side lying or standing even. Not dead, not inert, but alive, vibrant, breathing, vital. Held by these forces of earth and atmosphere and gravity and levity. So we don't have to hold ourselves up. there is something we need to do, but we are not doing it by ourselves. And certainly we're not the cause of it, the source of it. And so as we've centered, perhaps you've, and just see for yourself, is there a feel of being right here? Is there a sense of your presence, a sense of stability while alert? And is there a sense of, locate if you can, a sense of can't find the word, there isn't a word. That right here, that has no qualities. There are qualities that are around it within it. As I mentioned, qualities of maybe softness, of stability, of alertness, of ease, and perhaps other qualities like maybe a drumming stomach, lightly drumming stomach, or a warmth. But sense for a moment that sense of, and it could be sometimes seen as like seeing yourself from above or from very deep inside, a sense of no qualities, no time constraint, just could be emptiness, could be presence, could be the absolute. And at the same time, so two things were kind of opening to that which is before anything has a name, a sensation, a name, a feel, a texture, a idea, a reaction, just before that. And yet before doesn't quite fit because it's always, always, always right here. At the same time. So the two are not in conflict at all. At the same time, that emptiness is constantly, instantaneously giving rise to sensation, to breath, to movement, to light, to sound, touch, to worry, to joy, to everything that can be known. So from here, I've been moving a little bit with my arms as I'm expressing or touching the dog or cat next to me. But now let's slide from this centering right into a stillness. I'm going to need to adjust a little. So adjust if you need to. I'm adjusting, but that centering, let it take us right to meditation. And so it may be that you're already there to that grounded stillness. It may be that as you hear my pointers, my invitations, that you feel you're not there yet, and that on top of that, there may be a feeling of frustration, or I've been here before, but I've had this taste, but I can't get back, or I don't know what that is. I'm not sure if I think I might have known it, but I just am not sure about it. Any of those are possible, or other reactions, responses. And so more and more, keep coming, just keep returning, coming home again and again to just being here now, the practice, the intention. And allowing the wide open, boundless awareness that is that source. As if allowing, as if giving over the struggle, giving over the question, not to say we abandon it, but we allow the help of that source. And almost, and you kind of get the perspective, the drawing back of noticing what you're caught in. If you're feeling, if you are caught, that you celebrate. If it's a positive, celebrate the noticing, the arriving to see it. And then if it's a positive, it's a welcome kind of sense. Maybe it's even of a positive anticipation of something. For example, something is going to happen today, and just like make the space to enjoy that, celebrate it. And if it's something that's difficult to embrace, something uncomfortable, something unwanted, very helpful to ask how can I be with this, or how would it like it to be with me? How would it want me to be with it, and how would I like to be with it? So kind of two things. This all requires a slowing down. The frames of the film of life. And so that gives us the freedom to set something farther away, put a little bit of distance, put like a chair over there, apart from myself for that more difficult thing. And even when it is say a physical discomfort, giving it its own space, apart from the totality of who I am, in a sense gives it a freedom, gives that pain for this example, to have more freedom in it. The energetic flow can shift rather than be clamped down tight, bound. And so what I'm bringing in is this practice of, it's really not pure meditation, it's an inquiry. I'm bringing this in because things arise and we need a way to meet them, as our intent in meditation is to simply align more with the spacious, timeless, boundless presence that we are. So all that guidance was just how to be here in our stillness, silence, together, when things seem to intrude. And we get a little bit more familiar with this source, this home that we are called to. It dawns on us more and more that it's always here available for us. And we'll segue now. So maybe we felt some different mind states, a little more active as I was giving guidance, maybe a little more quiet, even quiet, as there was less talk, more silence. And you can choose to stay in the silence in yourself and stillness, or you can begin to slowly join me. The micro movement today will simply be a breathing practice. I'm shifting my hand position from my mudra to just my hands on my lap. And just check in now with your breath. So again, if you just choose to stay in meditation and not into this micro movement, that's fine. And so you're just hearing the words and staying with your own experience. However, even if you are joining the breathing practice. And so the invitation now, first for a number of breaths, a handful of breaths, will just be some belly breathing, just relaxing the belly and allowing expansion, softening on the in-breath, and just a You don't have to do anything on the out breath. Just let the belly relax. So that deep belly below the navel, above the pelvic floor, between the hip joints, in front of the sacrum. Very softly. No pushing necessary, although sometimes a little or a lot of pushing happens as we practice with our breath, and it's fine too. Just find we sort of get the feedback of what we're doing and keep refining with each new wave of breath. If you like, you can continue with that location of breathing, or you can switch to inviting the deeper breath into the what I call the upper belly, so sort of the diaphragm to the navel, that solar plexus area, and just focusing on inviting the in-breath to be more conscious of expanding in that area. And on the exhale, simply relaxing, simply letting go. Just relaxed in the jaw. And then finally, I invite a gentleness to this part. Imagine breathing into this top, to the rib cage, and especially up toward just under the collarbones, side armpits, just this rib cage area, heart area, very gently. Or if you find yourself being forceful, there's no harm in that. There's just so many grades of effort, and we're looking for that ease and flow and harmony. Which includes a sort of acceptance of what things arrive that we might want to push away, and becoming more conscious of that. If it's perhaps the way we've met the way we're practicing that, the way we're regulating the effort, there can be a layer of judgment on that. And so we meet each new layer, each new arrival. And now, for the last part, the in-breath can just be however you like it. And I'm going to choose a deep breath just because I've been noticing that's something I need to do. But on the exhale, I'm going to relax the lower belly as if to let my belly soften and widen, my base widen, my belly, my hips, as if it's a... I've shared this before. I've labeled it as one of my teachers does, the Unshu breath. So inhale however you like it. And on the exhale, there's almost it might seem very counterintuitive, almost an expansion, but a different expansion than the inhale, and a downward relaxing. Of all the lower parts, the lower belly, upper belly and lower belly, softening. It's quite different when we've practiced the idea of bringing everything in toward the center on the exhale. which is absolutely fine as well. We're just a different thing here. Different method, different set of juxtapositions, movements, in the intricacy of the basket of the pelvis. All right, let it go and just breathe. Let yourself be breathed as much as possible. Do nothing as you're do nothing with the breath. And so you may notice that the mind state now is something different than it was in our centering, in the guidance for the inquiry, in the meditation, in the micro movement, now after micro movement, and now post all that. And so, if you were to give a few words to your experience, take this slowly, and if possible, do it out loud in your surroundings. And I'll just model this practice, which is part of the kind of inquiry that I guided you earlier with. So, just anything about your whole felt sense, of how your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit feels. Take your time. Oh, and gestures and expressions can be part of this. And mine might be more like that right now. There's like this expansion, left lower rib. So I've got this, I'm touching to my left on it might look like it's on the right on the screen. There's like an expansion here that's very palpable. So, and as you hear yourself say or gesture, you might refine it. It might not be quite right. So just give it the words that make it more accurate, or the gesture that makes it more accurate. And you can do that several times till it gets to it just right. And then there's this resonance, like the clear sound of a bell. And that leads me to wrap up with the thumbnail of on this video. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. This shamanic practice that I was guided through once of taking stones. I was given a batch of stones to lay them out in a configuration. It was done at the beginning of a practice and then at the end. And I'll speak more about it. I'll speak more on these themes as we go through the next weeks. And you'll see the one I laid out just before coming this morning. Several things happened, some drastic things this morning. Nothing, anyway. And the way I laid out the stones, my center was even the biggest, heaviest stone was sort of up, and everything was all spacious, sort of scattered away from the base. And that's how I was feeling. And so it's interesting to see. And I think I'll take my stones in just a few moments and just do that quickly again. So you can gather, it's nice to have a bunch of sort of different objects, so not a bunch of all same. Could be like chess pieces. Stones work really well. Shells could work. Stones given their weight, even if they're small stones. And there's one stone in my bunch that's a little bit like a heart. So that one, it's a very small, sort of chipped off heart. But it's something fun to try. But we're doing the same things with our words and gestures as we report and give meaning to, share meaning of what is happening. here with us that we find when we sit quietly, and especially as we do this together. So, so, so powerful. So thank you. Thank you for joining me. Please do visit sunandmoonstudio.com to tap into our community and what it offers. And animals are calm. Wish you well. And ciao, ciao. See you next week.